Good morning, I'm Remo, and this is shocking news that's breaking overnight. Hamas has released disturbing videos showing emaciated Israeli hostages digging their own graves, sparking international outrage and urgent ceasefire calls. This is the Daily Signal for August 5th, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now.
Here are the other top stories for August 5th, 2025. Trump administration unveils major tariff rollout guidance affecting global trade relationships. Gaza death toll rises as Palestinians die seeking aid while burial shrouds run critically short. Coleman Hughes breaks down what he calls the simple truth about the Gaza war. BBC uncovers forgotten Korean survivors of the Hiroshima bombing, sharing their stories. Fresh violent clashes erupt in Syria as the interim government loses control. Rwanda officially agrees to accept 250 migrant deportees from the United States. Australia chooses Mitsubishi over German rival in massive $6.5 billion defense deal. Danish zoo sparks controversy by asking citizens to donate their pets as predator food. New report reveals plastic pollution costs $1.5 trillion annually in disease and death. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking overnight, Hamas and Islamic Jihad released videos showing two young Israeli hostages in shocking condition. 24-year-old Evyatar David and 22-year-old Ram Braslavsky appear severely emaciated and desperate. The most disturbing footage shows Evyatar digging what he describes as his own grave, telling the camera he grows weaker every day. Ram is seen writhing in pain, saying he can no longer move his body. These videos have sent shockwaves through Israeli society. Families of hostages are demanding immediate ceasefire negotiations, while others call for expanded military operations to rescue the remaining captives. Why this matters? International pressure on Israel is intensifying. The graphic nature of these videos could force a dramatic shift in ceasefire negotiations or trigger an escalation in Gaza operations. The Trump administration just released comprehensive guidance on their tariff rollout strategy. This affects billions in global trade relationships and could reshape international commerce. Manufacturing sectors are bracing for impact as companies scramble to understand new import costs. Supply chains worldwide are preparing for major disruptions. Why this matters? Your everyday purchases could get more expensive. From electronics to clothing, these tariffs will hit consumer prices directly within weeks. The humanitarian disaster in Gaza is reaching catastrophic levels. Palestinians are dying while seeking basic aid, and morgues report critical shortages of burial shrouds. Aid convoys face constant attacks, preventing food and medical supplies from reaching desperate civilians. The death toll continues climbing as hunger spreads. Why this matters? This humanitarian collapse is fueling regional instability and could trigger mass refugee movements affecting neighboring countries. Political commentator Coleman Hughes published his take on what he calls the simple truth about the Gaza war. His analysis challenges mainstream narratives on both sides of the conflict. Hughes argues the complexity of the situation has been oversimplified by partisan politics, offering a different framework for understanding the ongoing violence. Why this matters? As public opinion shapes policy, alternative perspectives like Hughes could influence how America approaches Middle East diplomacy. The BBC discovered forgotten Korean survivors of the Hiroshima atomic bombing, uncovering stories that have remained untold for decades. These survivors faced double discrimination as Koreans in Japan and as atomic bomb victims. Their testimonies reveal a hidden chapter of World War II history. Why this matters? As nuclear tensions rise globally, these survivor accounts serve as powerful reminders of nuclear weapons' human cost. Fresh violence erupted across Syria as the interim government struggles to maintain order. Multiple armed groups are engaging in deadly clashes despite ceasefire agreements. The government's inability to control these outbreaks raises questions about Syria's stability and the effectiveness of international peace efforts. Why this matters? Syrian instability affects global refugee flows and regional security, potentially requiring new international intervention. Rwanda officially confirmed it will accept up to 250 migrants deported from the United States under the Trump administration's mass removal program. the first group of 10 deportees is already being vetted by Rwandan authorities. Rwanda promises workforce training, healthcare, and housing to help integration. This makes Rwanda a key partner in America's hardline immigration strategy, offering deportees a path to rebuild their lives in one of Africa's fastest-growing economies. Why this matters? This sets a precedent for international deportation partnerships that could reshape global migration patterns. Australia chose Mitsubishi over a German competitor for a massive $6.5 billion defense contract. This decision strengthens military ties with Japan while potentially straining relationships with European allies. The deal focuses on advanced weapons systems crucial for Australia's Pacific defense strategy. Why this matters? This signals Australia's shifting defense priorities as tensions rise in the Indo-Pacific region. A Danish zoo sparked outrage by asking citizens to donate their small pets as food for captive predators. The request has ignited fierce debate about animal ethics and zoo practices. Animal rights activists are demanding investigations, while the zoo defends the practice as natural feeding for carnivorous animals. Why this matters? This controversy highlights growing tensions between traditional zoo practices and evolving animal welfare standards. A shocking new report reveals plastic pollution causes disease and death from infancy to old age, costing the global economy $1.5 trillion annually. The study links microplastics to cancer, reproductive problems, and neurological disorders affecting every stage of human life. From baby bottles to food packaging, plastic contamination is now found in human blood, lungs, and placental tissue. Why this matters? This health crisis affects everyone. The economic costs rival entire national budgets, forcing governments to consider radical action on plastic production. Today's stories reveal three critical global patterns demanding your attention. First, humanitarian crises are intensifying worldwide. From Gaza's starvation to plastic's health toll, human suffering is mounting while solutions lag behind. Second, international partnerships are rapidly reshaping. America's Rwanda deportation deal and Australia's Japan Defense Pact show nations forming new alliances as traditional relationships strain. Third, public pressure is forcing institutional change. Whether it's ceasefire demands over hostage videos or outrage over zoo feeding practices, citizen voices are driving policy shifts. The bottom line, we're witnessing a fundamental reordering of global priorities. Economic costs, humanitarian imperatives, and public opinion are colliding to force difficult choices on world leaders. These developments will affect everything from your grocery bills to international stability. Stay informed, because these stories will shape the world you wake up to tomorrow. This has been the Daily Signal. I'm Remo. Subscribe for breaking updates and share this episode with someone who needs to stay informed. We'll see you tomorrow with the stories shaping your world.
Unfiltered,